everyone, I'm Suzanne Lively. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to share with you how I am trying to get it all together while there's still time. When I filmed my last video and I was pulling together the curriculum that I hadn't started or even started yet for the school year, even though it was in my curriculum plan for the year, I realized that I need to basically get it together. I need to do some organization. I need to take stock and inventory of where we're at. What have we done this year? What do we still need to do this year? And I thought I will definitely share that with you. And I know I love it when other people do this for their homeschool channel. I figured you would appreciate it as well. As some of you may know, we're a homeschool family of 3. My daughter is 8 years old. We've been homeschooling since the beginning. This is her 3rd grade. And our school term runs from the middle of September to the end of June. Sometimes into the July, usually a couple weeks into July, depending on how we end our school year. And what that means is that we still have 3 months, about 3.5 months left of this 3rd grade school year. In terms of taking inventory, I had started with the curriculum that I said I was going to use this year, and we didn't. And we are not going to use a lot of it. So if you want to see that video, definitely check it out. I'll link it above. I'm not going to spend a lot of time repeating that information. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that we've done and what we have planned for the rest of the year. Now, I've watched other people and their mid-year reviews. This is a little bit like that. One of the major differences is, though, this is not the halfway mark. Like I said, we have 3.5 months of school left. So I'm going to share with you what we've done so far this year and what we plan to do to finish out this school year. Now I'm going to go subject by subject. That seems to be the easiest way to get across this information. And that's a lot of ground to cover. So I find myself talking fast because I don't want this video really long, but maybe I'll put timestamps down below. Okay, I'm going to start off with history. At the beginning of the school year, I did mention that we're going to do a huge world study this year. And I've combined that with our history. So I've ditched Story of the World. Initially, I said we were going to do Story of the World this year, and we started doing it. We did about the first 2 chapters, I think, but we've never returned to it. We went off and did a huge amount of unit studies, and I will not be returning to it at the end of this year. So what we did do in terms of unit studies, this all falls under the umbrella of history, cultural studies, social studies. Oh yeah, in some cases, literature for sure, language arts. So what we have done is we did a huge amount of resources for Hispanic Heritage Month. The next unit study we did was a Native American Heritage Month. And at Christmas time, we did a huge number of Christmas studies and I guess they'd be language arts studies, but we also did Around the World at Christmas study. So I'll put links down for all of those videos in case you want to check those out for resource tips or to see how we did those. And finally, we did Harlem Renaissance for Black History Month. What we're going to do to finish out the school year is we are doing Latin America, and we have a little piece of curriculum for that called Living Legends, and a huge number of resources for that. I will link that video above, because if that interests you, definitely check out the video I did for our secular history, because it has a huge number of resources. And in the last week, I did go in there and timestamp. So if you want to see certain resources, check out the description and you can hit the timestamp to see the insides of those particular books, which I find very helpful. Now, in terms of unit studies, this is currently March that we're filming this, that you're watching this, and it's Women's History Month. Now, last year I did a huge women history study, and this year, because we had so much going on, I decided to try to streamline that and combine some studies as much as possible. And I really showcased that in one of my last hauls, actually, a homeschool haul, which I'll link that above as well. But I'll just quickly show you a couple of them. So what happens for us in March, again, it's Women's History Month. And we also celebrate during Shakespeare Week, which Shakespeare Week happens in London. And the government does it for young elementary students and high school students. I look at that as an opportunity to have access to a whole bunch of resources. And I'm now looking at it as a Shakespeare intensive. Now, we did it last year, and this year we've gotten really more in depth. And I will continue that each year so that we can do like 1 week for sure of an intensive Shakespeare study. So Shakespeare, I'm calling it our Shakespeare Intensive. And one of the other studies that I'm doing because of my daughter's interest is female musicians. And I'm mentioning all this because I decided to take those 4 areas of interest and try to find resources that kind of fit all of those. For example, like I said, this is in the hall as well as some others. I just wanted to show you a couple. This is Bold and Brave Women from Shakespeare. And I grabbed this as well as other books, but I thought this combined everything so well in terms of women's history, Shakespeare. Yes. Also, I picked up She Raised Her Voice, 50 Black Women Who Sang Their Way into Music History. And the tie-in for this was we did a huge number of Black female artists for the Harlem Renaissance. So I thought this was a great segue from the unit study we just finished into the present day. Now, I have to say we haven't even started this. We're actually doing a Taylor Swift study. My daughter absolutely loves Taylor Swift, and I thought this was a fun way to teach her timelines and just to do more interest-led, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I'm not making it a huge study, but I'm using it as a kickstart for certain ways to do unit studies. And if that interests you, let me know down below. I don't think I have enough information to do a whole video on Taylor Swift. I mean, maybe by the time I'm finished, but just seems like I'd end up with so many copyright issues. I don't know. But if that interests you, maybe I could include what we did do in one of our updates. So let me know down below. All right. In terms of interest-led, I've said this in the other previous videos, but I did ask my daughter at Christmas what she wanted to study. One of the things she mentioned was Greek mythology. We did do this book a couple of years ago. She does not remember the details, and she asked to do Greek mythology. This is the book that we did. Many are familiar with this, Delaire's Book of Greek Myths. This is the second book we've done since Christmas and the New Year. The first one was and I forgot to bring it down, but I'll put a picture here. We did DK's Greek mythology and went through that really quickly, and I wanted to do something a little more intense. So I did purchase this. The first time we did it, we had our book from the library, but I wanted to add this to our personal library. So we're doing that right now. And also, thanks to Homeschool of Bel Air, I realized there was this Greek myth study that is on Teachers Pay Teachers. So I grabbed this, and I do find it's helping us focus in a bit more. They're asking questions. Now, the questions are really easy and they're multiple choice, but it does force us to remember certain details. And so what we do now is we read, So we'll read this before we listen to the section, and then we'll read it again after we finish the section to answer the questions. And again, I do find it's helpful. I will leave the link for this down below. You'll see a couple items from Teachers Pay Teachers in this video, and I'll leave those links down below. Now, this is a book I wanted to do when we started this in the new year. Classical, if you saw my updates, you know we decided to start this in the new year. We didn't do it in September. And this is A Year of Wonder with Clemency Burton Hill. And what this is like a daily read. And there's a playlist you can listen to on YouTube, which is really cool. Now, yet again, we've set this aside because we started this magical book. And if you saw my video on my 3 favorite curriculum and my least favorite, then this is familiar to you because I gushed and went on about this. This is simply fantastic, an introduction to classical music. And we are loving every minute of this. It is so magical and whimsical, and it only takes a few minutes every day. It's currently my daughter's favorite part of homeschooling, she said. In terms of Shakespeare, I did want to say also this, How to Teach Your Children Shakespeare by Ken Ludwig. So we finally started this. I will admit, we're going slow at it. We kind of go at it for a week or two and then step back for a few days and come back. I've definitely decided that we're only doing part 1 of this year. And that's fine because it really focuses in on the first part of this book. Mostly the biggest chunk is A Midsummer Night's Dream, which we're really getting into that in a bigger way. So yeah, I'm totally okay with finishing the first part, and we'll finish part 2 next school season, which I like because it's keeping Shakespeare at the front of our mind. So we tend to do that a little bit more. I know during Shakespeare week, we're really getting into The Tempest, which we had never read before. So every year it's like building on that knowledge when it comes to Shakespeare. I'm really grateful that my daughter has that in her life. And quite frankly, I'm learning a huge amount myself. Okay, math. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, Vivian is a bit behind in math. No fault of her own. It's all about me as a teacher. But again, I will be talking about that in an upcoming video in more detail. But I will tell you what we did finish because I wanted to mention a resource specifically. So we finished doing time and really got a handle on that. And this is a resource, and this is on Teachers Pay Teachers. And this is called Ready to Teach Time. Stop, do this first. And this is how to Introduce Time by Ainsley Labs. And I wish I had started with this book. If you haven't taught your child to tell time yet or having some challenges, you might want to check this out. Again, I wish I had started off with this first. And then we used a ton of these sheets. This also comes with exercises as well. And it really just was the thing we were missing and tied everything together so nicely. But it is a foundation that would have really helped and made everything so much easier. And also for math, we finished this subtraction facts that stick. Oh, and I also did addition facts that stick for review. I really wanted her to think about it from the way that this author, Kate Snow, teaches it. I don't have that here, but anyway, we finished both of those. And we are currently working on beta. So that's our math you see. And like I said, I'll do more about that in a math update. So if that interests you, make sure you're subscribed. I know I mentioned this in an update. This is one of the new books we put in. So this, I guess, falls under science. But we do quite a bit for Morning Basket. And this is one of the items. Now, we don't always do Morning Basket if there's other things that are taking precedent at that point in time, like for a unit study that we want to do more readings for. I'm okay with skipping the Morning Basket and coming back to it. But this is one of the things we've included. So we're not going through this fast, but we are going through it. My daughter absolutely loves it. Now this is a DK's Water Cycles, the Source of Life from Start to Finish. Absolutely beautiful. We did the life cycles last year. Yeah, definitely can't recommend these enough if your kids are into animals and science like mine. Now, in terms of science, we've done a huge amount of unit studies for science. So what we have done, I feel like I keep talking about this, but anyway, it was an interest-led topic of my daughter's. I'm so grateful. It's the penguin unit study. And we absolutely loved it, me included. It was so affirming for my daughter as well to see, I think, me so excited to learn based on her choice. And now I have all that footage. I did film all the resources we used. But honestly, who wants to hear about a winter penguin study this time of the year? It's spring. We want to do more fun things like flowers. So I think I'll keep that footage for next year. We're currently doing a tree study, and I will do a video for that because I want to share some amazing resources that we have. Now, I've discovered some of them is just honestly the information is repetitive, but the books are so amazing. I have a hard time letting go, but I'll show them to you and use the timestamps again so you can have a look at them, because then you can choose which one out of these amazing books you want to add to your library or get out of the library, because there's so many great ones. Okay, now also for science, we're ending the year with our human body study, and that will take the rest of the year. I have a huge number of resources, so you could study that all year long, I'm sure. And also what we've done is we've done a couple lessons, let's not exaggerate. We've done a couple lessons from Generation Genius. So I'd like to get in a few more of those. And my daughter's done some science experiments with her dad. Oh, I've just seen if I had the kits. There is a kit right behind me. If I can take this out without everything falling. Now, which one's this? Okay, yeah, he's been doing some more of these because I bought this for last summer for some of our summer projects, and we didn't get it all finished. I have to be honest, it's not my favorite thing to do. So as much as I can get him to do, that's fantastic. And he doesn't mind them. He likes doing them with her. So they tend to do a lot of these if he has a day off or on a Sunday. And they've also done some Kiwi kits. Language arts, like I said, I do have a video coming up, like within the week, probably of you seeing this, you'll see my language arts video. Now, we've done this sporadically throughout. I absolutely love them though. My daughter loves them. She can do them like 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, depending. Yeah, wow. Depending on her attention span. Anyways, when we do it, I get her to do 3 pages and it solidifies some of the things she's learned. I really love them. Can't say enough. So we just finished Explode the Code 3. I have a stack more. Anyway, I'll talk more about those in the language arts video. The only other thing I was going to say for math and the language arts is, you know, I got really kind of intense with some teaching for her. Now it's March and there's 3 weeks in March. So I've kind of backed off. For math, what I'm doing is just some workbooks. And when I do an organization video, you're going to see I have tons of these workbooks I picked up, which I think are just, you know, busy work. However, they have filled some gaps in her knowledge. So I've been using them. I'll continue using some for the rest of the month, which is March. And then we'll get more intense again in April. I think she needed a little break because I've done the same in terms of intensive work with her in terms of for reading and language arts. And this month, like I said, it is March. We are doing a Shakespeare intensive. And also my daughter has gone to a theater drama camp this month for a week. So I always put her in a fun kind of drama camp or art camp or something during March break week. And she loves and appreciates that intensive time spent with children, as well as focusing on some artistic interest of hers. So my point with that is there's only been 3 weeks for the month of March. So, and one of them is again focused heavily on Shakespeare. And also I want to get the tree study finished. And so my point with that is I'm taking a little bit lighter in a couple areas and getting myself more organized this month. So the last 3 months will be quite intense for her as well. And that's where everything stands right now. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you like this video, hit like. If there's something you want to see more of that I mentioned, definitely let me know in the comments as well. And if you want to see more videos like this, please make sure you're subscribed. And I will see you soon with another video.